Hi, I'm Jade Simmons, and we're back with yet another episode of Emerge Already, tips to lessen the plight of the aspiring concert artist. Now, tonight's topic is a controversial one. It's the topic of branding. Normally, when we think of that word, we think of it in conjunction with companies and corporate settings. In fact, in the world of the arts, we almost shudder at a word like branding because we like to think of ourselves as being above commercialism, and we don't want to associate with anything that conjures up the idea that we're selling something or that we're making claims that aren't quite true. Well, the irony is that it's that mindset that's kind of gotten classical music especially in a little bit of a bind. You see, branding is not about tricking people into buying a product that they don't want or they don't need, and it's not even just about selling tickets. It's really about letting people know who we are as artists and then inviting them in so that they can decide for themselves if the experience that we offer is one that they want to partake of. Branding is just simply about delivering your message as an artist clearly. What kind of artist are you? What kind of music do you create? And what kind of experience is it that you're going to offer? And then your brand should confirm your credibility as an artist. Next, you want your brand to connect your art with your target audience emotionally. And then you want to make sure that your brand is motivating the audience to buy your tickets maybe, to listen to your music for sure, and to experience the kind of concert experience that you offer. And finally, what your brand should do is it should make your audience loyal followers of who you are as an audience. It should cement them to you. So the first tip is you have to discover what a brand really is and what a brand is not. I know that the promo I sent out earlier this week had lots of logos that we all recognize as being extremely familiar, but believe it or not, a brand is not a logo. A brand is also not a product. I want you to think now of your brand as being a promise. This is a promise of a specific experience, specific benefits and value that your audience is going to get from your brand. The next thing you have to do is you have to review the industry that you exist in. You have to know the marketplace and you have to know where you fit in that marketplace. So take time to evaluate the scene around you. You should know what holes are available to fill, and you should also know what pitfalls await you for jumping into that particular segment of the market. Does the world of the arts really need you? And then what way do they need you? How can you be more necessary in your field? When you think of, for instance, percussion quartets, there aren't tons of them, but three that come to mind immediately. Probably one of the most established ones called Nexus. And then you have a really young, hip brand of percussion ensemble called So Percussion. And then you have another group that's kind of based in Chicago called Third Coast Percussion. Well, these guys have to figure out how they're going to exist in the world of the arts together. What makes these three groups different from each other? What makes a presenter want to present each one of them, even if they've already had one of these ensembles a season previously? The third step is that you have to discover your current brand. I know you probably think you don't have one, but I can promise you that you do. You have to go out and figure out where you currently stand in the marketplace. You have to determine where you are today. What your current brand looks like is going to be critical to finding out how you're going to develop your brand strategy into the future. So ask yourself these questions. What is it that you specialize in? Describe what you currently offer to your audience and define the quality of the artistry that you're offering. For example, if you offer multimedia concerts, then you also offer simultaneous artistic experiences. So that's defining what it is that you offer. And what kind of artistic experiences are these? These are probably very eye-opening and provocative, thought-provoking experiences. These should be words that you begin to incorporate with your brand if that's what your brand is about. You need to ask yourself, what does your target audience really think about your current brand of artistry? This is something that's, it can be a bit of a blow to the ego to find out what people really think about what you're already doing. Now, I dare you to ask your friends and family to be really honest with you, brutally honest even, about what they think about what you already do as an artist. Ask them what their expecting to experience when they come to your concerts? How close is what they expected to what they actually witnessed in your concert experience? And is the experience you're offering, is it something that makes them excited to come back for more of? And the answer might be yes to that question, and you want to find out what is it that you can continue to do, or what are the things that maybe you shouldn't be doing to make your concert experience one that's not to be missed. Another thing that you should be doing now, if you're playing with any type of regularity, you should be signed up to receive Google alerts about yourself. I promise this is not about vanity. Google alerts let you know what's being written, what's being said, what's being talked about when it comes to you and your art. You should be the first person to know that. When an article gets printed, when an interview gets posted, you should be the first person to take a peek or to take a listen and find out if this brand you've worked so hard to put out there in the universe is actually paying dividends. Now, once you have established where you currently stand, we get to the exciting part, which is defining your desired brand. What is it that you want to represent? Where is it that you want to go? And what do you want your art to become? Branding starts, of course, with goal setting. All successful brands aspire to be something, or they make you feel like you're aspiring to be something. When you think about beginning to build your brand, you need to have a really clear idea of your objectives for what you want your artistry, your company to look like in the next year, in the next 5 years, and the next 10 years. That kind of long-term plan is going to determine how you react on a daily basis, how you plan on a weekly basis. Now, even though we're talking about a word that's associated with commercialism, remember, we are artists and we're talking about our art, and our art should be central in everything that we do. So when we're talking about building our brand as an artist, there are 2 words that we need to keep in mind, and that's authenticity and relevance. And then finally, we have to live our brand. We have to deliver the experience that we promise. That's really the surefire way to make sure that your brand is established. If you say that your concerts are eye-opening and thought-provoking and creative and spontaneous, is that what you're really offering? Or are people leaving feeling like they've seen this and done that before? Whatever your brand is, you have to be consistent about it. You have to live the brand. You have to be consistent and persistent. Everything you put out should strengthen the brand. Whatever you have as far as your logo, your business cards, your websites, your press kits, your YouTube videos, your concert promo pieces, they should all reiterate whatever it is you're trying to market about your particular brand of artistry. Every place your audience can reach out and touch you, they should be touched by your branded experience. So you have to remember that those are the things that strengthen your brand. And so quite obviously, your brand is going to be weakened when you ignore it, when you aren't consistent about the message that you're putting forth, when you don't deliver what you promise you're going to deliver. So the big question is, after you've put all this work into defining who you are and into establishing your brand, how the heck do you know that it's working? Well, you'll know that it's working when you see your message replicated without your prompting. And you'll know when you start to hear your brand coming back at you intact, right? When you hear someone else talking about the experience that you offer and you think to yourself, I couldn't have said that any better myself. Then you'll know that you have lived your brand effectively. And the hard work of developing your brand and defining a strategy to put your brand out into the universe will have been worth the effort. So that's it. Now it's time to go and do the hard work of discovering, defining, and establishing your brand. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. This has been yet another episode of Emerge Already, tips to lessen the plight of the aspiring concert artist. See you back here next week.